Hello again. We're in Los Angeles again today, in California on the West Coast and enjoying West Coast wines, which I know I haven't always done, but I'm going to try to be a little bit more context relevant, let's say. So, this is a Syrah from Stolpman. It's a Syrah So Hot. Stolpman is the name if you see it up here. It's a 2019 Syrah. I don't know if you recall the little wine trip I did back in May, and I brought back all these different wines. I visited all these wineries up in just north of Santa Barbara, in the Santa Rita Hills region, where there's a lot of Pinot and a lot of Syrah. And we talked about some of these new wineries and their new exciting, methods and exciting new wines coming through. Stolpman was one of them. The interesting thing about Stolpman is it's a well-established family and winery going back a while, but they have a new line called So Fresh that is focused on just trying new things, depending whether it's a Pinot or a blend or a Syrah. This Syrah it's I think a second or third vintage. It's just basically focused on picking early, trying to get the wine to be lighter, because in California the grapes get to have thicker skin because it's hotter than in the Rhone, and the delta between day and night is a lot bigger. So the thicker skins will end up having higher tannins and more concentration. So all this stuff you have to kind of compensate a little bit if you want something that is more akin to what you would find in the Rhone, which is something they wanted to experiment with. So this is earlier harvest, dry farming, a whole grape fermentation, not whole cluster, but I mean they don't crush the grapes, and the fermentation takes place without oxygen to again keep just everything a little bit sort of lower intensity and fresher. As a result, you've got a wine that's 13.5% alcohol, very, very nice to drink really young, and that can also age for a while. There's no sulfite added. Again, it's another part of this new approach. 2019 was an amazing year in this area. I think we talked about this before. So this is a Syrah. I've opened it, like yesterday or the day before. So I've been enjoying it. And on the color, I'm sorry you can't see that in the sun and the backlight, but it's sort of very, it's like a sharper purple, not a deep purple. It's a sharper violet. It's the Syrah, all right, but it's got that little lighter edge that you see maybe in a Gamay or in a younger, Beaujolais Cru. Anyway, it looks young, and the whole glass has these shimmering, color of sort of purple going through around it, with the sun and the wine. It's really just kind of fun. On the nose, it's very floral. And again, I say it again, it really reminds me of a very nice Beaujolais Nouveau, and in the best possible way, not in a bad way, meaning it's fresh, it's floral, it's just, fun. It just it's sort of, the fruit is there, and you're going to enjoy it. So that's and a lot of acidity, and I think this acidity also is something they wanted to work on to bring it with more acidity, more freshness, so you can be enjoyed with different kinds of food. Now it's funny because on the palate you get a little bit of that peppery Syrah effect, quite a bit actually. So it's a nice reminder, and sort of for what you would expect if you're having a French Rhone Syrah. You got some fine tannins, not very strong, so you don't have any mouth puckering effect. The finish is sort of really kind of fades nicely, not super strong, but it's there, but for a little bit. And overall, you just get a sensation of freshness, of sort of deliciousness. It's a wine that's really nice to drink, and it's probably something. I have a few bottles that 5 years from now we'll revisit, and they will be very different. But you've got that sort of combination of the Syrah characteristics with the color, the pepper, the floral, you know, thing in its youth, and you get sort of that interesting experiment coming from the West Coast. That if they keep up with that, also with the sulfur, you just always have questions about the no sulfate, how it's gonna age or whether it's gonna be preserved or not. But that's why I figured I'd try one young and then we'll see what happens over time. But there's been none of that funkiness that some people complain about when they open a bottle without sulfite. Anyway, very interesting. Again, in the vein of the discussion we had about what's going on in some regions here on the West Coast, and it's just always fun to support these people and try what they're doing. Cheers, and we'll see you again soon.